Welcome back. Today I want to talk about spiritual survival, and this was an idea that I developed when I was a monastic, and it applies even more so as a householder. So let's get into it. I think you're going to find it very useful in your daily meditative practice. So the concept is really simple, but there are some really fundamental things that are underneath this concept, which are very, very important to a spiritual life. And so I'm going to talk about what can go wrong if you don't have that fundamental base underneath you. So simply, it is to pick your minimum for meditation each day. So in my last video, I talked about Arjuna. Symbolically, in the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna symbolizes the third chakra center, right in the vicinity of the navel. The Taoists call this the Dantian, and the martial artists use this one center almost exclusively to the rest of, they concentrate on it almost exclusively because it has to do with fear. And when you're practicing martial arts, you can't have any fear. So when you're dodging a sword, you can't think about, oh my God, I'm dodging a sword. You can't freak out, right? And so that's why a martial artist will concentrate on his hara or his dantian, or as I call it, the third center. Keep it simple, right? Arjuna is the active center in us. It is the fire, the will to do. And in the Bhagavad Gita, that is why the Christ-like intelligence, Krishna, speaks directly to Arjuna throughout the dialogue in order to speak to that piece of us which is active in meditation, because we want the fruits of meditation, therefore we need the action of meditation. And so that is a habit. And that's why Drona in the Bhagavad Gita, which symbolizes, Drona is the teacher. He's one of the gurus of the Pandava brothers. And in the spiritual war of Kurukshetra, he represents habit. And so we have good habits and we have bad habits, right? And Drona, habit, is the teacher of both of those camps. And so in the Kurukshetra war, at the beginning of it, we can see Drona is on the bad side because he is also the teacher of the bad habits. So we are trying to establish a new and good habit called meditation, which is very, very good for us. Stress reduction, reduced cortisol, reduced fear, reduced anxiety, reduced everything. That right amygdala that I spoke of last time, we're reducing all of that so we can jump past it into the left amygdala, which is bliss and joy and happiness and pure, pure love. So to accomplish all of this, we need the habit of meditation. And so how do we do this? How do we go about this? Do we come in strong and authoritarian and say, I'm going to meditate 1 hour every day? Well, a strange thing happens when you first come to face yourself in meditation. It's very, very difficult. I can still remember. So I think my first few meditations, I actually controlled my breath. And so I had a great blessing and I felt this tremendous peace. And so this happens a lot of times when we first start a meditative practice. Our enthusiasm is right, our attitude is right, our heart is in the right place, we got all this energy behind us, it's fresh and it's new, and we come into it with all that perfect mindset, and we have this glorious experience, or a very good experience, and we say, oh my God. And then as time goes on, something goes wrong, we leave a piece out, and it's not so good. So I had a few blessings, and then I was coming to meditation. It was like, and all my thoughts just rushed up to meet me. And I thought, oh my God, I had no idea my mind was so out of control. How can I ever learn to meditate? This seems like an impossibility, which is why I teach a lot of the tricks that I teach on this channel, right? But I didn't have all those. So I just had to face myself every time, and it was a bit daunting. It was really daunting at the time. In fact, I don't have them anymore, but I wish I did, so I could show you my diaries for years. They were very frustrated. I was so determined, and I was having experiences, and yet I was so frustrated. I was so frustrated with myself, and I would put myself down and on and on and on, and and then I would come back with my affirmations and rally my troops, and try and pick myself back up. So it was like this all the time. During all of that, somewhere I think in the Pashulan ashram, I started to develop this idea of spiritual survival. And I said, well, I'm going to pick my bare minimum, because there are times when I'd be on a work trip or something, and I would come back to my room dead tired, and the desire to meditate wouldn't be there. I just wanted to crash. And so what do you do with that? How do you deal with that? What do you, when you want to keep a spiritual practice, what do you do? And so this idea that I came up with is I'm going to have my bare minimum. So if I don't do anything else, I'm just going to sit down and do my kriyas. And if it's, if I'm really, really tired, it's just going to be 6. So like 5 minutes of meditation. Who can say, I'm not able to do 5 minutes of meditation twice a day, or even once a day? But I set my bare minimum. That was twice a day, 5 minutes, bare minimum, 6 kriyas, nothing else. That was it. So that was my bare minimum. I can sustain that every single day. Now, I don't want that to be my whole practice for the rest of my life. That would be a waste of my life. But that's my minimum, because things come into your life and they will challenge your practice. They will challenge what Drona is teaching you, this habit, right? You're trying to establish this deep love and desire to do this thing. You want to get addicted to meditation, basically. How do you develop that? Well, you got to have a minimum. And if you have a space that is dedicated to meditation, that's even better. So you want a space, you want a chair, you want a blanket, maybe, and you want a time if you can. But most importantly, what I'm sharing with you today is you want a minimum each day. Squeeze it in somewhere. 5 minutes, bare minimum, right? Set your bare minimum and then sustain it. And see how that spiritual survival will get you through the tough times. Because I'm not talking about the times where you're like, I'm ready to go, I'm going to meditate, I'm pumped, I'm feeling really restful, I'm really, I'm ready to do this thing. And you go in and you meditate for an hour. That's beautiful. So that's on top of your minimum, right? So the way I look at it, when you're first starting out and when it's really, really tough and you're coming up against yourself, it's really easy to put yourself down. And it's a huge mistake. We're working against the 8 meannesses of the heart. So what are those? Hatred, shame, fear, grief, condemnation, race prejudice, pride of family, and smugness. Those are the 8 meannesses of the heart. And so when you shame yourself, when we do bad, we should probably feel bad. But when we shame ourselves, when we're trying to do something, when we're trying to establish a habit, you're working counterproductively. So one half of your energy is going towards what you're trying to do, and the other half is coming back shaming you. And so you're like this, you're mixed up energetically. We want to take that one out, and we just want the upward trajectory of what you're trying to accomplish. And so watch out for those counterproductive 8 meannesses of the heart. You want to align yourself with what you're trying to do and move forward in that direction. And this is what the spiritual survival idea can help you with. First of all, when you sustain your spiritual survival, pat yourself on the back. Good job, man. You did it. We don't need to blow up our ego, but there's nothing wrong with giving yourself a little bit of encouragement and confidence. That's powerful. That's your strength, right? And Krishna would encourage Arjuna to have confidence. Oh, slayer of foes. He gives them all this confidence all the time. It's a really spiritual thing to give yourself a pat on the back and say, man, you are doing it. Hey, it's tough. You're not perfect, but man, you are doing it. That's powerful. That's strength. That's spiritual strength. So your bare minimum, and then let your love build on that. Oh my God, I did 5 minutes. Okay, I wonder if I can do 10. I didn't do 10, I did 7. Yes, I did 7 minutes. That's my new high. Okay, can I do 10 minutes? 10 minutes of heart rate variability breathing. Fantastic. Oh my God, my skin is electric. I feel fantastic. Okay, what about 15 minutes? Can I do 15 minutes? Let your love grow. And when you hit a wall, or you hit a rough patch in your life, you got stress on you, you got work on you, you got family on you, you got bills on you, whatever's on top of you, keep that spiritual minimum to sustain that habit so that the Pandava army, the positive army, with the help of Drona, can win the Kurukshetra war. And so what's underlying all of this? Consistency, habit, self-encouragement, confidence, and growing your love for something. So you're not coming, this is really important. You don't want to burn out in your spiritual life. You're doing something which is Herculean, okay? If you are meditating for enlightenment, you are endeavoring to do something which is a Herculean feat, okay? If you are looking for the spiritual eye, that is perfectly a Herculean feat. When Hercules goes to Atlas and he takes the earth on his shoulders, that's here. That's the medulla. He's taking the earth, the orb, on his shoulders, which means he is seeing the spiritual eye in meditation. And then he can't take it. He gives it back to Atlas. He says, that's enough. I've had enough of this magnetic draw, the first knot of Lahiri Mahasaya. I've had enough of this magnetic draw. I can't do it anymore. And he gives it back to Atlas. Okay? But doing these things, these are Herculean feats, literally. So, what you're trying to do, it's big. And I try not to, you don't want to make it like, oh my God, it's so big, I can't handle it. Just do your meditation and do heart rate variability breathing, and you're done. You're good. You're okay. Keep going, and you'll add on, and you're going to get there, you understand? But give yourself that minimum. Grow your love for it so that you don't burn out, because it's a real risk. If you're going to endeavor to do something, you got to know the positives, and you got to know the hurdles. You got to know the things which have the possibility of knocking you out. And this is one of them: burnout, authoritarian attitude. I've got to do this, and I've got to meditate, and I have to. If that's how you work all the time and you're comfortable with it, that's okay. But for most of us, over years, because we want a meditation habit that doesn't last for months or a couple years, we want a decades-long meditation habit so it can inform and bless and benefit our entire life. So we want a lifetime habit. Is this a sprint or a marathon? It's a marathon, definitely. We want that marathon. We want heart rate variability for the rest of our lives, because that's going to maximize our health and our longevity. So this is huge stuff, and we really want it. It's really a lifestyle. It's not a fad diet, That's what we want. That's what I would love for you. So here it is, the spiritual minimum, the spiritual survival guide. Get your minimum, get your space, and keep at it every day. And just let it build and build and build. Don't be too anxious. Let it come to you. And this channel, of course, is your support. So there you have it. I hope you love it. It's a really simple concept, but underneath it are these core things which are really going to benefit you. Take care, guys, and I will see you next time. Hit that bell so I can see you again.